Welcome to Compassion Speaks, where we give a voice to the nonprofits in the community. I'm your host, Kevin Weaver, and today on our show we have Dina Pace from the Humane Society, and Debbie. I forgot Debbie's name. So Dina is the director of the Humane Society, and Debbie is the shelter manager. Well, before we get into what we really wanted to talk about today, let's go back a few months because you came on and you talked about a fundraising effort that you were involved with called Happy Tales.
Yes.
So she already told me the question to ask. Did you make your quota of $100,000?
We did.
$100,000.
We absolutely did. And that's thanks to the wonderful community that, you know, all the donors, the businesses, the individuals that donate, the volunteers. The volunteers work endlessly for months on this, and for all the people that come and support it. But we did make our quota.
My goodness, you guys raised $100,000 up here.
Yes.
That's just amazing. Man, congratulations.
Thank you. You know, it's really amazing the support, the community support that animals get.
Well, you know, animals really, they're important to people.
They are.
My family, I don't know if I should confess this, it's no secret, I'm not the greatest animal lover. You know, I'm not the let the dogs lick your face and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But animals, I know, watching, my wife, matter of fact, one of our friends made a sign years ago, it says Tammy Zoo. And we were like this little rescue. Turtles and fish and lizards and cats and dogs and they are, I mean, they're just very important to people.
Yes.
And that's why I wanted to bring you guys back. Of course, I wanted to follow up with the fundraiser. Again, to thank the community and to applaud the community. I'm sure you're going to have that again next year, and we'll talk about that when the time comes. And you know, and actually, since we're in the vein of fundraisers, you did say that you have another one that you're working on.
We do.
So do you want to mention that?
I do.
Okay.
Right now, you know, because I'm going to tell you, that money sounds like a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So far this year, it's cost us $1,632 a day to keep our organization open.
Okay.
So if you really do the math on it and you go, wow.
Eats up $100,000 pretty quick.
It does. It absolutely does. So our fundraising can never stop. Yeah. I mean, this is an everyday thing. And of course, our Doghouse Thrift Shop is our everyday fundraiser.
Right.
But we also have the, right now we have a 2015 Can-Am 1000 Commander side-by-side that has been donated to us. And it's got 1,000 miles on it, 70 hours on it, and it's got over $5,000 in upgrades on it. So it's valued at over $21,000. And we are selling tickets for $100 a ticket, and we're only selling 250 tickets.
Oh, excellent.
And so we've sold over 100 tickets already. So as soon as those tickets are sold, we will announce where we are going to draw, and one winner will get that for, you know, if they bought one ticket for $100.
Excellent.
And then the reason we're doing another fundraiser is because we need a transport van.
Sure.
We need something reliable to take these pets to adoptions down in the valley, also to transport them to other rescues and shelters that help us. And so we have a van picked out, and so with the money that we're raising from this Can-Am sales is what we're going to do, so that we can assure these animals all get to go to another place when we get so full and in danger of evacuations and stuff like that.
Sure.
So.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I guess I never considered transportation of animals to other shelters. And do you deal with many adoptions in the valley?
We do, actually. We do a minimum of 3 every winter down with an organization called PAC 911. And we are going down actually on November 18th again for our 4th one, and then we're scheduled in December, if the weather holds, that we're going to go down for our 5th one of the year. And the reason we're doing all these also is because, you know, there's just not enough homes up here.
Right.
For all the animals we get. We are an open admission shelter, and so we, at the end of August, had taken in 991 animals so far just this year.
This year.
And this year has been an awful amount of intake, hasn't it, Debbie?
It has.
And which brings me to another thing, you know, speaking of our fundraisers and our efforts to try and help alleviate some of this problem, is that we also have the board of directors. I recommended to the board of directors that we do some of the money from Happy Tales. So we have donated $5,000 to our spay and neuter clinic to help the community spay and neuter their pets, to try and help us alleviate some of these homeless animals and all these unwanted puppies and kittens that keep coming to us. So right now, we have that available to help the public. So it's $35 to have a dog spayed or neutered and $25 for a cat.
Excellent. Okay, well, that brings us to really why we're here. It's the holiday season, and pets can be a wonderful gift in a lot of people's minds. People run out and, because the pet it's all the elements. The wow factor is there. Little Susie opens up her Christmas gift on Christmas morning. There's the puppy, and
right.
Ta-da!
Right.
Little Susie's thrilled, and Mom and Dad are the greatest people in the world. But correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I've had children, and I've been a child, and those little puppies and that cute little wow factor wears off in about 2 days. And so that's why we're here. We want to talk about the responsibility of bringing animals into a home. Before we began taping this afternoon, I was talking to Ron. Ron's one of what's your title, Ron? What are you? Ron's one of the guys that runs the camera. And he brought up a great point, and I like what he said. It's not fair to a family or to an animal to bring that pet in when the family may not be ready for another family member.
Right.
Yes? No? Debbie, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you say to that, Debbie?
I would agree with that. Like you said, not every family is ready at that moment in time for a puppy or a kitten. So how we do things, if people are wanting to get a gift for their child, whether it be Christmas, Easter, whatever, we do gift certificates. So if they want to give a gift for child, parent, whatever, then we will do a gift certificate. That way, when the time is right for the family, they can come pick out whatever animal may fit in with their family.
Well, that's a terrific idea, actually. I hadn't considered that.
Because not everybody is wanting a puppy or a kitten or,
A three-legged
dog.
Yeah.
They may want an older dog or an older cat. So that's why we do the gift certificates.
Well, that's a good idea. Not to mention, it gives the purchaser of the gift certificate a little bit of time to reconsider, and then he could always be a good neighbor and give that gift certificate away. So that's a great idea. So if people are considering a pet for a family member this holiday season, do you have any kind of guidelines that you might want to offer to folks to, consider this as you think about bringing a pet into your home?
We do have an adoption application that everyone has to fill out prior to adopting an animal. So they would have to have an approved adoption application, and that's just to make sure that the animal that they're picking out is the right fit for their home, based on what we've noticed through the animal.
Okay, so I come in and I want a pet, and I just fall in love with Junior because I want a three-legged dog. And, I must digress. Tell me the story behind Junior, and then I'll get back.
So
what happened to this guy?
Junior came in as a stray. He didn't have all of his legs, and his left front leg was broken. So we did have the doctor cast it and everything. And then with being in a cast for so long and his leg just being so bad off, his foot was actually getting to where he was really flat-footed. Mm-hmm. So our doctor decided to go ahead, and it's a half amputation. So he actually does have part of his foreleg right there.
Okay.
And we are actually in the process of getting him a prosthetic leg.
Oh, really?
So he will go
Junior.
back to having 4 legs as long as he accepts the prosthetic.
Yeah, of course. How old a guy is he?
He is about 3 years old.
Is he up for adoption?
He is up for adoption.
Oh, I was going to think he seems like he might be your mascot.
He's a good guy. We really like Junior. He's been with us for a really long time.
Okay, so I want to come in, I want to adopt Junior, and you give me this application to fill out, and I answer all the questions. Do you interview me? Or do you just look it over and say,
We look it over, and then if we have any further questions, which we usually do on everybody, just because we want to make sure that each and every animal is going to the right home, for them. So, like I said, if we have any further questions, then we do interview.
Sure. Have you denied adoptions?
We have.
Really?
A lot of times, again, like if it's somebody wanting a puppy and they have little bitty kids, puppy's like having a newborn. So, I mean, if you're having little bitty kids and they're running crazy, and then you got this puppy running crazy.
Yeah.
And chewing on them.
Depending on the situation, we may approve, we may deny that application, just depending on, how well the kids and everything are, how old the kids are, things like that. Because puppies chew on everything.
Right.
So, I mean, if there's a baby, we don't want the puppy to chew on the baby or bite the baby.
Well, let me ask. These are my granddaughters over here. This is Paige and this is Roxanne. And they're puppy sitting today. Are they chewing on you, Roxanne? Do puppies chew? She's not chewing today. Are they licking? Ooh, do you lick them back? Well, let's talk about the dogs that you have with us today. Of course, we've got Junior here, and Junior, you said he's 3 years old, and he was a stray. Somebody brought him in.
He was a stray. Just a Good Samaritan found him, brought him in to us. We took him to the vet, got him checked out by her. She decided he needed the cast, and then, like I said, that wasn't really his best benefit, so she did do the amputation.
So when I'll say somebody adopts Junior, is the prosthetic going to be a part of that adoption, or will the person adopting Junior be responsible to follow that through?
So our hopes are to have the prosthetic before he gets adopted.
Okay.
If he does get adopted prior to the prosthetic being ready, then we'll probably ask them to come back. That way we will have the prosthetic to go with him.
Okay.
And the really exciting thing is this is our first attempt at getting a prosthetic for any of our amputees.
Yes. We've had several amputees, especially within the last couple of years, and most of those have been rear legs, so you can't really do a prosthetic on a rear leg, especially when they're all the way up to the hip. So this is pretty exciting for us.
Is there somebody up here in the mountain that specializes in that? Or
Well, this is a friend that is actually, he does not, but he has another specialty that he feels he is attempting to make one.
Oh, my goodness.
Because the closest one we were given any information for was California.
Okay.
And we're just not in a position to go to California.
So he's not going to whittle an aspen tree?
No, he's not going to whittle. He actually has been, he's been informed a little bit about prosthetics and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's been around it on and off throughout his life. And so he actually feels that he's going to attempt it.
Excellent.
He's doing it as a favor to us to see what we can do for
Wow.
Junior.
That's pretty cool.
You know, don't you agree, Debbie, that the front leg's a little harder for them to lose than a back leg?
Yes. Junior does seem like he gets tired more often than if it was a rear amputee, but he gets around. He just seems like he gets more tired, and he tries to use it.
Yeah, sure. So what's it cost? What's an adoption fee for Junior?
So Junior's adoption fee is $65.
$65, and he's already neutered.
He's been
and
neutered,
ready to go?
microchipped. He's up to date on his vaccinations.
My wife's here today babysitting one of the grandchildren. Do you want Junior, Tam? I really think I like this dog.
And you know, I'm going to tell you, you had mentioned that, sometimes you're not the ooh-ah dog and all that.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we agree that we have found that so many people in life, that's the only reason they get up every morning.
Yeah.
That's all they have left is their pets, and they become their family.
Oh, absolutely.
And so.
Could not agree more. And that brings me to a question. Many people view pets as a family, and I think really they should. If you're going to make a true commitment to this living creature, then you need to be committed for their life. Absolutely. Yes. And so let me ask you this, dare I? Do animals, do they show emotion? Do they have feelings? Do animals have a soul?
Yes.
What's your
I think
thought
they
on that?
do,
You're the
yes.
experts.
We
think they
believe
do.
we believe that there's 4 parts. They have a body, a mind, a heart, and a soul. And all too often we see that some part of that's broke when they come
Yeah.
to us. Like Junior, his body's broke. You know, we have other ones that you can see their soul or their heart's been broke because they've come from a home and they're not in that home anymore. And so we believe that it's our job to help all parts of them heal and make them ready for that new home.
Wow. You guys talk like you mean that.
Oh, we do mean it.
Yeah,
Debbie and I have both been with the company right at 9.5, 10 years, and we truly believe in what we're doing.
Yeah, I really think I have to concur. You know, I've as a chaplain with hospice, I've counseled with family members who have lost their pets, and there are ministers out there who will tell family members that their animal doesn't have a soul, and I suppose that's up for theological debate. But for me, I mean, there's certainly an intellect, there's an emotion. I like the 4-part, the body, the heart, the soul, and the emotion, and they certainly show emotion. And they, well, today I was at a house that, and the family, of all days, of course, this is quite ironic, a stray kitten had wandered in, and they took the kitten in, and their household cat of 11 years, he was either depressed or he just flat out copped an attitude. And I watched the family member, the owner, the master, he would offer that cat a little treat to try to, get him to eat, and the cat wouldn't take it. He would just turn his nose up to it, and he would set that treat down, and that cat would eat it. It's like he would not take the treat from the owner because he was mad at him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that was incredible. And another thing, in hospice, Medicare wants us to kind of be like we've got this crystal ball. They've got this new thing where they want us to be able to predict when a person is going to die within 7 days of their death. So we can be at 7 days, we can be at 3 days, we can be at time of death. And one of the things I've noticed, because we don't have a crystal ball, is a pet within the last 24 to 48 hours will cling to that person who is nearing death. And so I think there's not only an intellect, but there's almost this spiritual thing that's going on. You guys, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That connection, I mean, and that's what we hope for every one of our animals when they get adopted. But like I say, we've seen it, anybody that follows us on our Facebook and stuff like that, last year, Terry Bankert, who was with me, she was one of the 2 when we came and talked about our Happy Tails fundraiser. She had adopted Priya, and Priya is a therapy dog now. So they go into the hospitals and stuff, and she actually submitted her story to the Petco Foundation and won us $5,000. And her story, it's actually very tear-jerking, and it's on our Facebook now because Petco's showing them again. Priya went into, she had gone into the hospital and she had met with a cancer patient, and several months later, she went back to the hospital, and the family of that patient said, so-and-so's in here and would love to see her. And Priya was not allowed on the beds unless they're invited up, and he asked for her to come up. And Terry said it was just amazing. The man smiled, and he held on to her, and she stayed with him until he fell asleep, and his hand dropped off. And it was like they were saying their goodbye.
Yeah.
So do animals have emotions? They do.
Yeah, and I
they know
think,
things that most people aren't in tuned to.
Yeah, because for me, as a pastor, I see that there's just a veil between our human experience and what's next. And I'm kind of beginning to think that animals might be allowed to see through that veil. And you validate through that story.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to these other animals. So that's Junior. Junior's 3, and Junior, we wish the best for you. And who's this guy, girl? What do you got there?
That's Emmett.
Emmett.
And then these are his siblings. Warner is the tan and white one. He is a male also. And then the little white and gray Merle is L.
Let's do a little modeling. Roxanne, pick up, what is he? Who? I mean,
Warner.
Pick up Warner and carry Warner across the stage. A little modeling. Come on, man. Can you pick him up? We're going to show off Warner right now. Maybe. Okay, let him go. How about this one? Paige, pick him up and model and come and show him off. Who's this?
That's L.
And come and stand right here. His name is L?
Her name.
Her name.
Her name is Elle, and she is the only girl from this litter.
Oh, hi,
So
L.
they are all litter mates.
Oh, and they just kind of wandered in together?
Someone brought them in as strays.
Oh, my goodness.
So
There you go.
and
Come on.
they're
A little
about-
modeling going on with the girls.
they're about 2.5 months old, and they are also up for adoption.
All right, come and sit down, girls.
And they will be spayed or neutered before they leave.
So an animal comes in to the shelter. Is there a certain amount of time that you absolutely insist on keeping them? I couldn't come in the same day and adopt one of these animals.
Correct. So if it is brought in as a stray, without identification, we have to hold on to it for 72 business hours. So days that we're closed, we don't include those.
Okay.
But if they do have identification, whether it's a tag on their collar or a microchip, and we get a hold of them and of their owner, and we can't no answer, whatever it may be, then we hold that animal for 120 business hours.
Okay. And they're not released for adoption until they're spayed or neutered?
Correct. So once they become our property after the holding period, then if they're an adult dog, then we'll do a behavioral assessment on them, make sure that they're good with kids, other dogs, things like that. If they're puppies, they don't have to have that behavioral assessment. Normally puppies get along with just about everybody. And then they'll go on our adoption line. While they're there, they can be spayed, neutered, microchipped, everything like that. And then they will be released for adoption. But they can be adopted. They just can't leave the shelter before they're spayed or neutered.
Oh, okay. What's your refund policy, or is there such a thing?
So we don't have a refund policy.
Okay.
If that animal's not working out for whatever reason, they have 21 days to exchange that animal.
Okay.
And then they can pick a different one that may be a better fit for their household.
Excellent. So do you have animals? Kind of a dumb question, but are you needing to adopt? So are there some ready to be adopted?
Absolutely, yes.
Lots are
Yes.
ready, aren't
So,
they, Deb?
yes, we are full. We're full right now.
What's full? What's
so,
capacity?
So we have 45 dog kennels that we can house. And then like the puppies are all doubled up. So these puppies are sharing one kennel. So I think this morning we fed right around 52 dogs.
So dogs and cats? Any other animals?
We have dogs and cats mostly. We have had goats, chickens. We've had an iguana. So, I mean, if someone needs to rehome something, then we can house it.
Okay.
If we don't have the room or the facilities, then we'll rig something up really quickly to be able to house it.
So the holidays are here, and we're thinking of gifts to give to family members, children, elderly people, shut-ins. They certainly are a terrific idea, but maybe not the best idea to jump into. So if somebody wants to get a gift for a family member, your suggestion is come and get a gift certificate.
Yes.
And
we also have other things available as far as a gift if they want to be able to, if they're just wanting to do something with us. I get the pet thing. The gift certificate is a must, but they could get a gift certificate for maybe their cousin has a dog that needs to be spayed or neutered.
Oh, yeah.
Or they want to buy a paver and put their name on it or become a member in their name.
Good idea.
We have all kinds of things that could happen. We just definitely don't want an animal to be a surprise from us to somebody that may not be ready for that surprise.
Yeah, and I think that that's what we're getting at as we begin to wrap this up today. The animal is fully meant to become a member of that family. And there needs to be a commitment, because you're going to ask for commitment from that animal. You're going to ask for loyalty.
Right.
And all that goes along with animals and love, and they deserve that in turn. Yay?
Oh, they absolutely deserve that. You know, and it's you know, how they behave with us, we have no idea how most of these animals are going to behave in a house. You know, and there's things that you always have to work through with anything you bring into your house. You know, some may be house trained, some may not be.
Yeah,
Some,
true,
you know, some may like other dogs, some may not. That's why, you know, you just can't, we just don't believe that that's good. We believe that setting you up the animals and the people for failure.
Well, heartache, sure.
And there's nothing worse to us than watching one that goes into a home and it doesn't work out and it has to come back.
So you mentioned potty training. Do you guarantee?
No, we never guarantee. We never even guarantee their house broke. Because you know what's going to happen? The first thing usually, even one that we know is house trained, it's going to get in a new atmosphere, a new house, and it's going to get nervous, and it's going to either piddle or something and have an accident, you know?
Can I try Junior? Junior, come here. Come here, come and see me. Anything else you guys want to add? Hi, Guy.
You know, we just want to add that, you know, we really appreciate all the support our community gives us, always.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, we always need volunteers, both at our doghouse thrift shop and at the shelter, because this time of the year we lose so many volunteers.
Right.
And something that I really think is important for people to know, as you know, a lot of times people get very depressed with the holidays coming.
Right.
And you know, you don't have to be alone. You don't have to be depressed. There are animals that we have that would love for you to come and sit and spend some time with them. Mm-hmm. You know, even though you may not be in a position to have an animal of your own right now, you can come and share ours with us for now.
Good thought.
Or we can always use fosters as well. Junior, the whole time he was in recovery from his both his broken leg and his amputation, he was at the shelter.
Excellent. Excellent.
So, I mean, fosters, he would have recovered better at a foster home.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today and the insights you've given us. And we encourage folks, if you're considering a pet for the holidays, give it some real thought, make them a member of your family, and yeah, get involved. Great place to volunteer, great place to invest some money as far as donations go. And we want to thank you today for joining us, and tune in next month to hear Compassion Speak.